Hey guys, this is Exodus again, and we're gonna go over housing today. I know the last few videos we've gone over food, making a few different things like that, but we really want to get into, how to stay safe, how to keep people from basically killing you in the middle of the night, things like that. And we're actually gonna go visit a second base that I have built, but let's go ahead and get over here. It's actually hidden away. Let me go ahead and start by saying if you're playing with friends, the first thing that you really want to do is start building a house, of course, because you want to be safe in the middle of the night. Of course, avoid trying to turn on lights in the middle of the night because it will make you a target. You basically radiate a big shiny light and tell people, "Hey, I'm over here. Come shoot me in the face." But let's go and go inside. And as you can notice, I've already got metal doors put up. The metal doors are actually only breakable by C4, so that's one bonus to have the metal doors. It takes 200 metal fragments. And let's go and actually back up a little bit and take a look at the house and what I'm doing here. And if you notice, there's actually a whole bunch of beams set up. And the reason for this is you want to build high. You don't necessarily want to build wide. The reason for this, if you look over here, it's going to take a jump on the rock. See those giant tall buildings over there? It actually makes it harder for people to break into your house if the building's taller than it is wider. And the reason for that, if it's wide, then all they need to do is start placing C4 along the walls, blow them up, and they just start going through it. If you build it high, and you build kind of like almost like an ant tunnel system using stairs, then it forces them to have to go through the stair system almost, and they have to use a whole bunch of C4 to try and get to the higher levels. Now, another thing that you've noticed is the doors are open. Doors are open on the base. There's a bunch of, again, pillars and things like that. And what I've started doing is, even when I log out or when I leave the base, I leave it open. I don't leave anything inside. I haven't actually started collecting anything over here. And the reason for that is people see closed doors, things like that, they'll start breaking it down. And if you don't have a big enough base at the time, if it's only 2 stories high, then all they have to do is break one wall and they're basically inside your base to take your shit. You don't want that to happen. So again, what I've been doing is I'll only gather wood, and I'll only gather as much as I need to build a certain part, and run back, set up the certain part, run back out and try and find more wood. So that's one way of keeping your base from getting raided continuously, is you try and build up, you leave your doors open, you don't leave anything inside, and you only gather what you need to, just for the time being, until you have a decent enough base set up for yourself. Now, if you're playing with somebody else, what might end up happening is you might be able to change the locks on here. So you've got more people to help you out. You can go on there, hold E, it'll open it. You can change the lock number and put in whatever, 2441 or blah, blah, blah. That way, whenever your friends come up, they can hold it down, it'll ask them for the code, and they can put it in, they can open the doors for you, or open the doors for themselves and actually get inside the base rather than get cornered outside. But let's go and fast forward through this. When running up rock faces, be sure to actually run sideways a little bit. Otherwise, you might end up getting stuck or actually running slower. But if you run at a diagonal, then he'll actually pick up speed to, I guess, normal speed, regular speed. Oh, here's actually somebody's house that's been raided. So this will be a good example. Like I said, this one's, maybe 2 stories high. But as you can tell, somebody came in, blew out all the walls, blew out the ceilings, the doors, all that stuff. Why? Because there were a whole bunch of boxes, and I'm sure that there were lights and everything that was locked up, so people wanted to know what was inside. And there isn't diddly inside left. Let's go and keep moving. And another quick thing I wanted to show everybody is if you fall even from a slightly high or remotely high distance, if you look down here on the right hand side, I'm injured, and that's because the little guy broke his legs. So now he's having to try and crawl. And even then, if you notice the bandage down there, I used one, but it isn't going to help the injury. The bandage will only help with bleeding. And the injury, you more or less have to wait and heal. Let's go and fast forward through this. Oh, just another quick note before I forget, before it gets dark. If you hit F1 and you type in grass.on slash, or not slash, space, false, what it'll basically do is remove some of the grasses out here. So it'll actually help out with the frame rate. It'll help you kind of spot out different things. Let's try and get back to the house over here. It's starting to get dark. We don't need to get shot in the face. We're going to try and avoid that. And as you run through the world, try to stay off the roads. Try to stay off the main road. You can always run along the edge of it a little bit. I'd say up in the mountains, stuff like that. The only reason I'm out here is because I'm not carrying a damn thing. So if somebody kills me, I really don't care. But alright, we've made it to one of the other bases real quick. What I wanted to show in this base is if you go upstairs, let's go and head upstairs. Got locked up areas, we got fires, but we've also got windows. So once you get to a higher area, or once you've started building a higher spot, what you can do is you can place windows around your building and then place metal bars in them. That way nobody can get inside. Nobody can do anything like that. Now they can be blown up with C4, of course, but the bonus to this is you can now lure people or monsters out here. Ooh, let me turn the light on. There we go. You can lure either monsters or people out here, and you can take shots at them, of course, through the window, which makes it a lot easier than having to deal with the people through the doors, of course. Another tip that I would recommend is build various different doors so that you always have at least 3 or 4 different ways of getting in and out of your base. The main reason for that is if you get cornered on one side, you can always come out a different side. And if you want to, of course, try and fight off whoever's trying to raid your base or whatever else. But that's really about it for now, guys. We'll look into a couple of different things, like how to craft weapons, how to craft different items, and where to get new items. And actually, let me go and turn this off real quick. If you notice the big bright light over there, that's somebody out in the middle of the night. I don't know if they're in a base or if they're just out in the open world. But clearly, they don't know to turn the light off in the middle of the night because it makes you a big target. And there he is, actually, running around. 2 little guys building a little base. But we'll leave them alone. I don't feel like dealing with anything like that. We'll go and get started on the next video here shortly. And enjoy!